since learned that one of the most interesting places to be was with Samson, who was endlessly patient with children as long as they obeyed his basic dictates about taking care around the horses. Samson and his wife had much to do with the smooth functioning of the farm. Even though it was a familiar sight, Alex never ceased to be touched by the sight of the huge black man trailed by the children of Wild Swan. Slavery had left its fearsome marks on him. His dark brown skin was scarred on wrists, ankles, back, and right cheek, and part of his right earlobe and a lower front tooth were missing. But Samson possessed the most unblemished heart and soul Alex had ever encountered. He had come to Wild Swan as a fugitive slave. Legally, he was still a fugitive, and worse, a murderer. Though Samson had fled from his owner under the threat of maiming or death, he had planned to return to Georgia to free his wife and his 2 children. But his owner had come to Wild Swan, drawn there by interest in the famous horses, and Samson had confronted him a little way from the farm, begging him to release his family. In a rage, the slave owner had not only refused, but had attacked Samson with his riding crop and threatened Alex as well for her part in sheltering a runaway slave. It had happened very quickly, but Alex could still see it all unfolding before her, slowly, as Samson dragged the man from his horse and bashed his head in. She had witnessed the killing and her own fear. She and Samson had stared at each other over the chasm of the worst Southern fear. A black man had killed a white man. And then she had remembered that this was the same man who had been training the horses and guarding the children with infinite tenderness since the day he had asked for a job at Wild Swan. Alex had devised the plan to make the authorities view the incident as an accident, and she had begged Samson to remain at Wild Swan. And here he had stayed even after he had learned that his family had died of fever shortly after Samson had fled the plantation. Alex's housekeeper, Della, had helped him weather the crippling blow of that truth, and he had married her. Della, half black and half white, the product of a white owner's relationship with his slave, was a beautiful, highly educated and freed woman who had had no intention of falling in love with the untutored slave Samson had been on his arrival at Wild Swan. But her heart had not heeded her mind's reluctance, and Alex did not know a couple more closely bound by love than Samson and Della. Nor could she imagine Wild Swan without them. In addition to doing the cooking, Della ran the household, while Samson was the undisputed authority in the stables. It was an arrangement that allowed Alex to leave the farm for extended periods of time without fear that everything would be in disarray when she returned. Samson eyed her keenly as she came near, taking note of the fact that she wore her riding habit.
"Maybe you and Swan been needing a little running for the spirit. Mr. Rane and the company that's coming, they come, you worry or not."
"You know me too well," Alex said ruefully. "And you are absolutely right. I will feel better for a run on Swan." "Me too," Gwenny chirped, and Alex mentally adjusted the speed of the ride to accommodate taking Gwenny before her on the saddle. But Samson came to her rescue, pulling a sad face and complaining to Gwenny.
"You gonna leave me here with all this work to do by myself?"
Gwenny looked pensive for a moment, torn by wanting to do both, but then she said to her mother, "I better stay here, 'cause Samson needs me to help him." Alex hid her smile, greeting this announcement with the solemnity the child expected, though she was aware that Gwenny's decision had been influenced by the fact that her brother Blaine had given her a ride earlier in the day. "Maybe if you and Samson get very warm while you work, Della could be persuaded to give you something cold to drink," she suggested, and Gwenny nodded her head in vigorous endorsement of the idea. The big chestnut stallion danced a little in anticipation of being taken out for a ride, but he quieted immediately at a few words from Alex. Though everyone called him Swan, his full name was Wild Swan. He had come with the Carringtons to America when he was a newborn foal at his mother's side. His mother, the lame mare leader, had been bred to another stallion after the birth of Wild Swan, and had given birth to a filly, Black Swan, in the United States. It was